And we're back with another episode of, I forgot the name of this podcast, but you'll see the name of it on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on there.
I promise you'll see it there. And you're your host with the most, Glass Nose. Shout out to the 80s. your boy Jabir, your boy Jabir Macmillan, aka JB McBuckets.
And also your boy Hudson Kasea, also known as Big Dick. We're back at you with another nice podcast. Now, what are the topics for today?
Thank you for asking, Hudson. When I came up with this stuff, I know the last episode that you people will never get to see because of issues, but I know with that podcast we wanted to stick to music for the most part, but it is now about 3 weeks later since that podcast, and there's just about no music that's came out that's worth discussing. Shout out to Lil Wayne and his attempt at another run.
Attempt. Dog, that shit was so fucking good. Like, you can't just say that shit like it's an attempt. Talking about album of the year right here.
I apologize to Lil Louisiana. I actually did like what I heard of it. I actually got to the last, I think, 2 tracks and then took a nap and never listened to it after that. But it was really good. Mona Lisa, I think, is a strong contender for SOTY. And I don't know, for him picking songs that actually like were from the original recording era, I thought it was pretty well done.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know how the fuck he got 23 songs on there. Like, who does that anymore? But I'm glad he did because most of them were pretty fucking good. Like, it's hard to sift through them.
Yeah, I would say that if that's his last album, which I'm not, he hasn't said that outright, but if it is, then I mean, it'd be a good closer. It feels like, other than no involvement of the OG Cash Money, it felt like a pretty good synopsis of his career. And no Drake either, but some people might say that's for the best.
Yeah, fuck Drake. I fucking hate him so much.
I'm gonna introduce the topics in a second, but I remember, and it was just something I've been doing the past couple days. I actually went back like the Wayback Machine and looked at some of like the pre-lubing before that story of Adidon had came out, Pusha T's disc, and people weren't ready for that. Like when he came out with that shit, it was literally like the most. It was like the World War II nuclear bombings. It was like people sitting there thinking like it's almost over with. You know, Push is not going to respond, and then Fat Boy just levels the entire universe.
Yeah, no, it was literally the most unprecedented diss that I could even remember, and it allowed people to remember that Pusha T exists, which is important for him because he's about as far into irrelevancy as like an MC can get. But it's just like the things he said, how he said them, and I don't know, it was genre breaking. Like everybody was like, "Holy fucking shit!" for like a week to 2 weeks.
And I'll give him that. I mean, you think about 2 weeks, that MGK disc like literally went away in a day before Eminem dissed him, and then ended everything at that moment. But you 2 weeks in today's climate, where literally everybody has like long term autism awareness in their fucking veins, that was impressive.
Yeah, no, that was incredible.
All right, so we're gonna segue into an episode that's going to be more centralized around non-music, to say the very least, but more importantly, entertainment and relationships. I know you don't come to YouTube to get your fits and for how you should view things, but I think we have a pretty solid perspective when you say Hudson.
I think so too. You know, me and Jabir here, we have a lot of experience when it comes to the ladies, and I feel like we need to share this experience with you all And we can also draw it to a lot of the more visible relationships and visible thoughts that run our society.
And that's a big facts. So we're gonna start off with abroad and just get it a little bit more curvy down the way. But Hudson, I ask you because you have we discussed this a little bit too much, one might say, but I think you have a better defined list of how you would define a woman. Not to say that we're sexist on this podcast, but how you would define a pure woman. Let's just so to speak.
A pure woman. Like, what do you mean pure as in like personality, or pure as in like we're talking like the epitome of a woman?
That's a better way to put it. So a woman that you would like not even see her IG follows, how many likes she's getting, which is of course how we value women these days. Uh, or just see how much clout she has in the Snapchat score. You could just see her in broad daylight, and you would be like, that woman could exactly be my partner for the rest of my life. Let's talk about that
See,
type of woman.
okay, okay. So that right there is like bottle lightning in a way. Like that doesn't happen. I don't think I've ever seen that personally. Like it's different for everybody. There's not. It's not gonna be one person like that everyone's gonna look at like that. It's just a combination of it's definitely that they got to be interesting. And by that I mean they got to be passionate about something. They got to have something that means that every day they're going to have something new to bring to the table that you didn't know before, or it's just interesting. Like for example, say that you're talking to a girl, she's very interested in let's say she's actually interested in art, because there's a lot of girls out there that say that they're interested in art, but they're not. All right, they're just not good at
True,
anything
very,
else.
very true.
And then art's something that you can just do. So then they do that, or say that they do that. Say she's really interested in art, and every other day or so she has a new like little drawing that she did or a painting that she did. She's actually good at it, and then you're like, damn, she's talented. This is interesting.
I know I
Or
do.
say that she sings, or really anything. She needs something that she can bring to the table, and if she's passionate about something, it will like irradiate off of that person that they're confident and that they're passionate about something.
I think
And
not
honestly,
to
yeah,
interrupt, but I think that's typically how I think it's typically how a relationship, like I don't want I wasn't here in the '90s, but I do believe that's how relationships worked before technology existed. Maybe.
yeah, I think so too. Because honestly, technology has caused like a lot of people to just not be good at anything. Like a lot of people walking around these days, they're just consumers of media. They don't add anything to the world, like except like carbon dioxide and like fucking negativity. Like I'm one of them. I don't think I add anything to the world, but that's just the way it is because it's just so easy to consume and just exist. And see a lot of that, and that's not something that's going to interest you. Maybe if you're new and you've never had a relationship before, then pretty much anything they're going to do is going to make you excited. But we're talking about real, like, years that you want to spend with somebody. They got to be into something, and they got to be into it heavy.
I would say to add on to that, um, there's a fine line between being like a bump on the log that like just looks at media and like looks at some shit, tries to make it up like a personality off of just Twitter shit, and then like that's how they interact with it. Like I would say that at least for me and you, I believe we take this media and I guess try to make something out of it, something new out of it. I would say, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and like I think when you see like memes, some people just like look at memes and just like okay, that's funny, but you also have another side of the world that like takes that meme and then like makes it even funnier with their own context.
Right. Or when it comes to memes, you can also become like, a cataloger of memes. That's something I consider myself. Like, I'm not trying to flex or nothing, but my collection of memes is pretty extensive. And due to the amount of time and care I put into learning about each one and where they originate, I could probably tell you where any meme came from. Like the moth meme, people don't seem to understand it, but I know every single little facet that came into its current state, like starting back in maybe about 2015. So it really depends. You gotta be passionate about something. And then of course, well, it may not be quite as important in my opinion. It is important. And we're talking about physical characteristics. Now, physical characteristics, they can come and go, they can change, but when it comes to the initial attraction, that's pretty much the most important thing, because that's all you know about them is what they look like. And if their style like coincides with yours, and maybe some physical characteristics, like say you like big titties, she's got big titties, or say you like blue eyes, she's got blue eyes. um that can definitely come up and make you view them as a pure person, pure woman, you know.
Okay, well let's give the viewers something to hook on to, so they can actually know us a little bit more. Um, I'm gonna say mine first. You can say it after. What is your uh, e- let's see, how do I phrase this? Series or a combo of physical traits that automatically make you just perk up and it's like, all right, there's a lot of potential there. And I'm gonna give you mine. It doesn't have to be like, as far as skin color. I mean, you can only get the hair color of the name from one color, but I would say at least for white women, so I got one for each. I got one for each race, but I'm gonna, because
Oh man.
this is my preferred one with white women. I would say like a deep, like damn near autumn ginger hair bitch or woman.
Bitch. I like how you're trying to talk about pure woman and you just throw a bitch. Like, god damn, bro.
That didn't happen. A lady, a gal.
Damn.
I would say fair skin, because I mean you can't, like, realistically with that hair color, you can't get like a tan goddess out here, but you got to get like a fair color, not like what do you call those people, aborigines, those people from like down under.
Aborigines, yeah.
Yeah, those people don't have like pigmentation. Uh, so you get that
Wait. No, Aborigines are like, they're like American Indians, but for Australia. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna look it up while I'm saying this. As far as
Bro, you're talking about fucking albinos?
albinos, that's what it is. Yeah, albinos.
Holy shit.
Though those two groups can probably share a couple common links if you look at the 6 degrees of separation.
I don't think so. Let's keep going.
All right. As far as eye color, I really don't look at it too often unless like it's just that striking, like a baby blue. But we might as well just go with that. I would say like turquoise, baby blue. That's usually like the most striking eye color you find. Um, Decent teeth, at least solid.
Sure.
Um, you know what? This might sound controversial. It's not that I don't understand why women like want to be hairy, but like I think it's gonna be like a limit to how much hair you got, like in certain,
Oh my god. Yeah, I know what you mean.
like if it's on the arms and it's like hairier than like a Frenchman, then it's a little bit problematic.
Yeah.
And then body wise, I'd say like pretty, at least like semi in tone, not too buff, because your boy rocking the 140-pound frame, almost little muscle. I can't be having the so it's a little bit too much, but
Mm.
not too skinny either. Because you gotta have a good in between. Like as far as the body, I feel like that doesn't exactly matter if you're looking for a partner, but just decent.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you want to include like personality and like fashion, all that stuff in it. So I'm just gonna pass it on to you and let you decide what you want to do with it.
All right. You talking about just fashion, or you talking about just girls?
Like just girls. I just don't know if you want to include
Okay.
like outer appearance as long with like your ideal woman.
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, that's an important part.
All right, well, I'll chime back in after you're done.
Oh shit. No, you keep going. You were going. That
Okay,
one's stinky.
I'll let you think about that one then. As far as fashion, I mean, the trendy catch-all now is like the Goth GF. That's the one people like these days. But I would say somebody, as long as you don't like wear like oversized shirts with almost non-existent shorts and
Oh god
chacos,
damn it.
the Auburn alumni fit, then you're doing better than most women automatically with just that.
Jesus.
That I didn't realize how prevalent that was at our shared high school. Shout out to ASMS. I didn't know exactly that spread outside of that because, of course, that high school is like isolated from the rest of the world, like Contagion or something like that. Um, but when I got to the real world, it's everywhere. It's literally everywhere.
Yeah, no, it's just like the thing. Like that and just general like, you know, down south thoughtware. It's a big deal, at least where we're from.
Yeah, for the viewers here, if you are from the north, of course, you people deal with like frostbite and like hypothermia, so you might not know exactly what we're speaking on right now, but it's a pandemic that shows no sign of stopping anytime soon. And as far as like personality, here's I'm gonna try to break this down to four categories on the spot: music taste, thoughts on controversial takes, um, willingness to discuss irrelevant stuff like politics, and finally, let's see, what could be finally? Well, at least with those three, I know that if you have a woman that is almost uneducated on every single like possible controversial individual, like let's say it's an easy one that we did in an episode that didn't come out, but with SS Tentacion, pretty much every single woman on Twitter that didn't even know anything about the guy basically say he was a woman abuser, right? And while the information will lead you to believe that the lack thereof, but just let's say the social media information would make you believe that at least something happened there. A woman that would just, and this is for men too, but a woman that would just like look at that and say, okay, I know everything about this case just off of like one headline. That's a pretty stupid person, right?
Yeah,
So I would,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think any female, again, any person, but just specifically any female that would run wild with stuff like that and just add it to their like Twitter list of males I should hate, the ever expanding Odyssey. I was going to say Odysseus. The Odyssey of collection of men they should hate. I think that's a woman you got to avoid like the plague.
Absolutely.
And it's going to sound like indirect shot at feminists because a lot of people get offended by that as feminists. But the thing about feminists, and this is something I just learned like a long time ago, but something that got reinforced earlier today, I would say. So there's this woman, right? I think she's like a year younger than me, so I think 18. And I added her through various, social medias, Instagram, Snapchat.
Yeah, yeah,
You know how you got to do out here. He's got to fuss in the
yeah.
streets.
Be like that.
So I added this woman over the summer, and she seemed pretty like lonely, right? So I'm trying to offer this woman, not even the pipe, but just I was a little bit bored in Gulf Shores. I worked in Orange Beach, which if you don't know, Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, pretty much the same thing. And she lived
Yeah.
at yeah she lived in Gulf Shores, right? So I was just gonna hit her up like if you ever trying to watch a movie or something like that, hit me back, and I would come to learn, like just the first sign was I looked at her IG, and I'm talking like F cup like titties, right? Solid butt, solid.
Yeah.
Um, face, but with just the aforementioned traits, a little bit pudgy too. But even with that, you would get like minimum like 60, 70 likes as a woman with those traits, like minimum. Um, if you were like even decently like likable as a person, because it's kind of easy to tell even on social media, like who is a decent looking person inside and who isn't. And I think this woman, I couldn't pick it up immediately. But this woman gives such dickhead vibes. I think she just got like she's like 100 followers as a female that actively posts and actually puts like effort into filters, if you can believe that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I'm crazy now.
you're talking like 2012, like Instagram first came out, then maybe, but like after that, you should be getting like double likes of any male in your general area as a female, pretty much. So when we go down the list, and I see another, you know, glaring alarm. Um, this woman, this woman used the slang "we stand" in quotations. Are you
Man.
familiar with that phrase, Hudson?
Of course I am. Of course I am. I do know of that phrase.
So you would know good and well that people who use that, commonly found through Twitter, people who use that are generally people who would spread bleach on a man's crotch for man spreading. You can make that link, right?
There's a lot of overlap there. I understand.
So with that being the case, I think that was the second biggest one. I was like, okay, this woman might be just completely unapproachable in every single way, and might even be Satan herself. But you know, I don't. I got out the box because it was clear that she wasn't trying to hang out. Which I was like, okay, people have their options. If you don't want to talk to men, then sure, that by all means, whatever. Um, I guess it's kind of problematic when you're that same person, but you post every day in your Snapchat story. You know, men ain't shit. Maybe at that point, a little bit problematic. But anyway, so we move on to the week of the Bill Cosby trial. Uh,
Hmm.
I think you can tell right now that riled some jimmies in certain women's, you know, underdraws, you know.
Absolutely.
So, you know, of course, Bill Cosby, the former goat, disgraced now, but the former goat, he lost the trial, and you know, righteously, I guess, for women, they rejoice. Um, so we get to the part where, I think soon after, judge is like, God gets sent immediately to prison. You know, the next Monday, sent to the damn shoe. They took the damn key away from him and just locked his ass out of there. And I'm like, okay, well, this is an 81-year-old man that has never been in prison in his life, and now he's probably about to get like butt blasted in prison. You know, there's a little bit of empathy for.
I think the people in prison aren't gonna butt blast him. His
I,
hole is too loose, and they respect him too much.
I hope, I pray every day that Bill Cosby, if he's gonna die in prison, at least don't die getting raped. You know, that's all I ever pray for Bill Cosby. Um, but of course, you know, some people like the aforementioned SS and Tentacion thoughts that believed that they were better because they weren't dead and they didn't beat women apparently. This woman posted on her Snapchat story, same woman. This is it's like a screenshot of like the whole announcement. You know, Bill Cosby immediately sent away, blah blah blah. This is the best music. I forgot how feminists say this, but this is my favorite song, something like that. You know how they do. And I was just disgusted that any person, much less someone who still has their future ahead of them, would just maybe he did, you know, date rape a couple of women. I won't say he didn't, but I will say this man is Bill Cosby. You got to respect Bill Cosby to some degree, and it felt like it's just disrespectful to me. So I guess the concluding part of all of this was that the feminists of today, and not all of them, don't let me generalize, but some of the feminists today, I won't even say most, but some of them are some of the most hateful, most toxic people I've seen. And when you get that label from a woman, like when you start talking to her, it feels like a bad sign.
Yeah, it's a mark of the beast, like a septum piercing, or like
Oh,
something like that.
oh God, that's painful. When you hear or you see the sign that marks a septum piercing. Like I could even like back in 2016, you know, your boy, I wasn't messing with chokers like that, but I can understand like those are those are wrong for the right reasons. A septum piercing is is literally like basically telling all men that you might as well cut your balls off and speak to me with no bass at all. You cuck.
Pretty much.
I,
Pretty much how it is.
those are all negative traits I could give. I try to be pretty empathetic towards the platinum women because I don't understand women, but I try to understand how why I don't understand them. I'm gonna pass it on to you now. I hope you got your traits listed together, my boy.
Oh fuck. All right. So essentially, well, honestly, as long as they have a pretty consistent like image, as long as they're like, they have an idea of who they want to be and they're going for it. But for right now, we're gonna talk about one of those archetypes. All right. So I'd say that, you know, she'd be uh she'd be pretty pale. She'd be let's just all right, I'm just gonna go around and say it. She'd be like, an actual like legit like 2000 and like 2001 era goth bitch, all right? That's what we're
Mm.
talking about right here. So we're talking like, she's pretty skinny and black hair, and it's just a consistent like, overall picture that we're talking here. Dark clothes, all that. And I'm not one of those guys. I'm not one of those guys that's hopped on this recent like goth GF type deal. Let me tell you something right now. I've been on this train since like emos were still a thing. All right, like this has been the
Ooh,
wave for me.
Jesus. My man's talking about the
You remember
Osiris's.
those? I'm talking about the Osiris's right now. I'm talking about the Boxies. All right, I'm talking about that shit. And as far as music goes, we don't have to like the same music, but as long as like they're willing to like willing to listen to like the heavenly stuff that I listen to and be okay when I'm not gonna listen to the bullshit that they listen to, then we're gonna be just fine. Uh, moving on to what were the other traits you said?
uh,
You said
I know we did inward appearance. I guess your golf is part of the outward like fashion appearance.
oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
we did music. Did you cover personality already?
All right, personality. Like I said before, they really got to be into something, and chances are, if it's a goth bitch, then they're probably gonna be acting like they're very into poetry, and that's cool. If they're good at it, that's gonna be pretty good, but chances are they won't be. But as long as it's like interesting to read, like it's some like really really terrible stuff or something that I could tell them is good, and we're gonna be pretty all right. I'm gonna be glad to have that. As far as like personality goes, because I don't think I really covered that enough. Uh, I'm not even gonna be naive and say that I want them to be a kind person. To be honest with you, I honestly kind of want them to be like an asshole. Like as long as it's like they're when they're an asshole to me, it's just because they're like asking me to cut the fucking bullshit. Because I do be bullshitting all the fucking time.
I think we
But
all do to some
you
degree,
know, exactly. So as long as they're a mean-spirited person in other directions, then we're probably gonna be fine. Um, yeah, I mean, honestly, personality, as time goes on, I'm starting to put less and less stock into that because it's like I've known a lot of females at this point in like an intimate type of capacity, and I don't think I've found many times where I was like surprised by what I saw. They're all pretty much the same, and that might sound like a hot take, but maybe all guys are the same, and we don't know it, but it's just the way it is. It's kind of a pipe dream to think differently. Um, and since you talked about feminists for a bit, I'll talk on that too.
Mhm.
If I'm talking to a girl and she says that she's a feminist, most of the time, it's like the rest of what they'll say for the short duration that we'll still be talking. It's like they're like one of the parents from Charlie Brown. It's just like it's like it's like white noise. Like it's like I can't
Wop
listen
wop
to
wop
half
wop
the
wop
shit.
wop wop.
Exactly. It's exactly like that. Because it's like I know that they're gonna just drop in there somewhere like, "Hey, I'm a feminist. I hope you're okay with that." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay with that." And they're like, "Are you a feminist?" I'm like, "No." You're like, okay. They're not gonna say shit about it for like a week, but then like when they drop it again, they're gonna be like, hey, what are they gonna say? They're gonna say, man, I just think it's crazy. It's almost funny how women are still being paid like 74 cents to every dollar that a man makes. And I'm just gonna like read that, and I'm just gonna shut off the phone. Like I'm not even talking about press the button on the side. I'm gonna hold on that bitch, and then I'm gonna go to like the fucking pier or some shit, and like look at the waves and think about like what I've been doing for the last week talking to this girl.
It's like that. It's
Um,
like that fucking like Joaquin Phoenix scene from Her. It's a pretty famous GIF. I'm going to send it to you after this. But it's just like he's like just standing looking at the waves and his head just droops down.
yeah, yeah, just like that. That's pretty much how it goes. Because I mean, honestly, if and I don't blame them if that's like the general like political thing that they subscribe to, and it's not even like a whole. It's just one topic really. Then they kind of expect you to take on some of those ideas. And if you're not going to at any rate, and they figure that out, then they're just be like, well, I'll just find someone who is that malleable, and they'll just go somewhere else. Unless you like got some other factor that's keeping them by, like bomb dick or something, but that's a different thing entirely.
That is a completely different something that knows them and their incessant rage against men. Um,
Yes.
I will say one thing I've noticed with feminists, and it's pretty common I think these days, is that there's not a win for the man in any argument. And you pretty much covered this, I think, pretty well. But there's not like a neutral point to where you can say, okay, let's say Donald Trump for example. I'm not really a Trump supporter, but like I could see, I guess, how someone would be persuaded to vote for him, or whatever, based on how much hope he put out there during his campaign to like poor white people, basically.
Yeah.
Um, so let's say you have a person that is pretty deep in the feminist dialect, and they hear a really poor white person that gets a free bonus added onto their check for the end of the month or some shit like that. Whatever he was doing back in January. Um, so this person is probably pretty obliged to believe that Trump is like the best president of all time, which is maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But you can see why they would think that. Uh,
Yeah.
I would say that even after describing this golden goose egg that just laid into this man's hands, this extra $15 he can use to pay for his meth, this feminist would probably still look at that and think this guy is the sole reason why all women are being held back across the entire universe. And it's that level of extremity that makes me think that most feminists aren't even like intellectuals.
Yeah. I mean, they're definitely pseudo intellectuals. Like they want people to think that they know a whole lot about the things that they talk about, when what they're saying are the same exact things that they've all been saying since about 2013 when this became an issue. Um, it's like, I mean, come on, bro. You really are you're really not gonna come out with any like new shit? Like, come on now.
It is generally the same talking points, and I understand that like cause as a black male, I understand that sometimes the problems are really that simple, but they're complex and trying to remedy. I understand that, but when you look at like let's use a very recent um, occurrence to try to get on this. And this, I promise people, this isn't a political podcast, but we really just got to get this, to move on. Uh, so you have the Kavanaugh guy, right? That I actually did a little bit, like I basically Wikipedia'd it, but but I did a little bit of reading on it, and so apparently this girl that he talked to back in high school, right? It was him and I guess four of his buddies, and he goes to this girl's house, I guess, and from what she says, he basically like pressed his dick on her, like was trying to rape her, but like he didn't because I guess he got broken up by one of his friends. So we see that right before he goes on to the to get confirmed for the Supreme Court. And what I think ends up happening is that they end up like the FBI basically goes to talk to the other buddies, and then they all like unanimously are like, we don't know what the hell happened, right?
Yeah.
So of course, with that being said, they pretty much go through with it. I think it was 50 to 48, which is pretty narrow depending on like considering how much love that the Kavanaugh dudes seem to have amongst like the Republicans. But I digress. So the fallout comes, and it's like it's all like ends up being like pretty much just white feminists, right? And of course, black feminists. There's something incessant about black women to help other like races of women, even though they don't like black women get shitted on more than like any other like group of women, and
Yeah.
they still go out there and help the people that shitting on them quite ably. Which I would, hey, more power to them. I wouldn't, but more power to them. So what ends up happening, I think it actually is an end result because of this. I don't know how it correlates, but Bette Midler, the old, I don't know what she was in. I know she's old and white and old. She comes out and says that black women are the new N word. I believe the quote was. And I believe that was the.
What?
Yeah, I gotta double check. Okay. Yeah, on Twitter she said that no, okay. I think she said that women are the N word of the world. Like she basically saying that women are like niggers basically now.
Oh, are we on that level of oh, this is PG. Damn.
my bad. That's basically what she said. Though. I had to. Here's a little bit more of it. Women are the N word of the world, raped, beaten, enslaved, married off, worked like dumb animals, denied education and inheritance, enduring
Damn.
enduring the pain and danger of childbirth and life in silence for thousands of years. They are the most disrespected creatures on earth.
On Earth?
On earth, that's what she said.
Dog. Whenever I go to Tim Hortons to get coffee, like be it night or day, I drive by like a cattle ranch, right? And the cattle, it's not even a ranch. They're all inside and they're all in little like locked things. I'm not a vegan. I'm not like, one of those dudes, but like these cows literally sit in a 3x4 like meter cage for their entire lifespan, and they just look at the cars that pass by and their food every meal. That is the only thing that stimulates them. And you're telling me that a woman in the Western world during like the highest point of economic achievement in the history of the world is the most disrespected like creature on planet Earth. I, I don't even know what to say to that, man.
I think Bette Midler might be a little bit senile at this point. The fact that she went into such vivid description of how bad the N word, as she said, and the people that represent the N word. The fact that she went into such vivid like worked like dumb animals.
Dumb animals. You said it, not me, dog. I mean, shit. If women, I don't know, if women didn't want like to work so much at one point, women's suffrage, if they weren't looking to do that so much and they were like, hey, we're content with this, then everybody, like all the men would be getting paid more and we'd be pretty much able to all work just one worker in the household. And now, if you're the only person providing for a household, you're below the poverty line in most cases. And there's only one kind of person to blame, and then I'll give you a hint: it's not the men.
I have to agree with that train of thought. I don't want to work for both me and a woman. I'm a pretty lazy person and non-traditionalist in that regard. But I will say, like the vivid like wave of women coming out with their cash apps and their Venmos asking for money for basically nothing, like to exist. It is it makes me think that the women that actually are like actual feminists that actually like succeeded in suffrage, they got pretty much beaten for nothing. If you look at what's happening.
Oh, absolutely. Nothing.
Absolutely not a single day. When I think about the fact that, and this was something that I sent to you I think the other day. It was a meme where this guy pulls up to this woman's house, and I guess she's like one of those. I think you call him a dom or
Oh
something
yeah,
like that. Yeah.
yeah. A financial dom. Yeah.
Um. So he knocks on the door on his hands and knees, with nothing but the money in his outstretched hands, and she asks him like, "Why are you here?" And it's basically like to serve you, master. And then she, she this video is like 10 seconds long. She takes the money from him, makes him say, "I think thank you," and then closes the door in his face without even saying "you're welcome." And that's the end of the video.
Mm.
And that is a very common way, not those extremes, but to basically those extremes that women make money this day and age. If you have a body that's above a 7, you would probably coerce some innocent man. Now it's innocent because it's basically a beta male, which is basically a non-innocent waste of humanity. Um, but you could take this sheep and coerce him to give you probably $1,000 a month very easily.
Yeah. Maybe we should get back on track.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
because we're just talking. Now we're just talking about like I don't know women as a whole.
all
That's
right.
not good for business.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry for the past 10 minutes of people getting to hear our digressions about women. Um, so I wanted to parlay. My original idea was to parlay how we saw these ideal women, and I wanted to take that moment and take those ideal traits, and I wanted to see how likely do you think, like if the world is to, and this isn't just our taste, if the world is to go back to like a I want to say a friendly, like not all parts of the world is friendly, of course, but like a friendly year where people aren't just cold like on social media and shit. What do you think it's gonna take for people to become compassionate towards each other again?
Ooh, that's a good one. It's gonna take. God damn, I never thought about that before. Uh, for people to be compassionate towards another again, as long as like it's so easy to I don't know, talk online behind, a screen. I don't think it's possible because a lot of people, people have greed and envy and like, all kinds of emotions like that. It's just like back in the old days, pretty much the only way that you could communicate with someone was like in person or like by phone call. Let's just say at that point in history, um, or by writing letters. And a phone call or writing a letter, you're still communicating directly to that person. Like it's not easy to just call someone out and be like, "Hey, man, you're a fucking bitch." But now online, you can just text that shit, and it's like that shit's so fucking easy. Like even like the weakest of people can come out with straight heat and act like they're hard. And human beings have always had these emotions of negativity, but they never had something that they could just so easily just drop it on somebody. So as long as this kind of shit exists, it's just gonna keep being this way.
You know what I think would be like low key a blessing, and I say this now, but if it would happen, it'd be disastrous. I feel like, but it probably never won't happen. Never will happen. Um, when we had like the whole net neutrality like rave I think it was like last year, right?
Yeah.
I think some of the principles of that, like having to pay to basically shit post 24/7, or having to pay like having to actually identify yourself on the internet, is I guess you kind of have to when some of the options you have to use become so like varied that you like, or so it's like sectioned off that you kind of have to pay for each individual thing. You probably like you would have time to like build like thousands of aliases.
Yeah.
Um, I think that actually be like basically just the principle of accountability would make the internet, because like back in like Facebook, MySpace days, people would like have like pseudo accounts, but they weren't like well developed. You can still tell like because I mean it was still just like the fresh off the compassion era, so we speak. So you can still tell when somebody was somebody behind that. They weren't used to just being like internet slaves yet.
Yeah.
I think if you would find some way to make people have to be themselves on the internet, even they got to be like the lamest mother effers of all time, have to be yourself would do like spades for making social media back, or just the internet, in general, but making social media back to a place of friendliness and love and care.
And wholesomeness.
Oh, definitely wholesomeness,
Just
definitely.
pure Christian values all across the board.
I'm talking like Facebook, instead of having like, instead of like the two O's, it's like the stigmata of Jesus Christ.
Yes. Man, it seems like you always say exactly what I need to hear. You know,
I'm hoping that
that's
this.
what I need to see.
I'm hoping this podcast can do that for people out there who really just want to like not shit on women, but also maybe want to kind of shit on women from time to time. Every once in a while.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I think going off of that, because we gotta go into a more reality based world. I have two more topics up to date. I have new music that you want to discuss, or slash just music that's on the top of your head that you've been playing recently. Something a little bit old, but something on top of your head. And
Okay.
favorite TV show. Which one do you want to approach
Okay.
first?
I feel like the people want to hear new music. That's
Okay,
what I think.
okay. Well, I'm gonna slide down the table and give you that first shout out.
Okay. Oh shit, you get. Oh, okay. All right. So, new music. We're talking about music that has came out recently.
It could be some
Um.
some niche. Like I know you have a lot of niche music. I'm sure you got something to top the dome that you've been listening to recently.
Okay, I'll tell you something niche. It ain't that niche because most people have heard this song, but I want some people who haven't heard this song in a long time to revisit it because it's different this time around. All right, so everybody's familiar with Dirty Sprite 2, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And everybody's familiar with the fact that it kind of did, March Madness, it created the wave, but Dirty Sprite 2, like, it made the wave, like, it kept it going, it sustained it. And fucking it was incredible. It wasn't what created trap music, but it was definitely what made it what it is now. And it really did open the door to a lot of things.
It made it
But
palatable.
exactly. But there's a lot of songs on there that people like to say, like stick talk and like, all kinds of stuff like that. Fuck with some commas. Looking at it now. But there is one song that sticks out amongst all the others that I think everyone should listen to again, and you'll realize that it was the masterpiece of the album, and that is the song "Rich Sex."
Oh,
Rich,
that's a classic.
goddamn, when the beat drops in "Rich Sex," it's definitely nutworthy. I think everyone should listen to that shit again and feel the way I've been feeling the past couple days. Other as far as new songs, like songs that are actually new, there's there's a couple things that came out that people need to take a look at. Uh, what's important that came out was the fucking Kodak Black single. I feel like the Kodak Black single was pretty fucking good. How do you feel about that? Have you listened to it?
Yeah. If I'm lying, I'm flying.
Yeah,
Um, I really like the his flow is pretty solid. He sounded like more active than I heard him in a good minute.
I
Um,
agree.
if his album, I think he's supposed to drop an album, or no, he's supposed to drop a. Oh yeah, the song from that meme that came out. He first came out of prison.
Oh God.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
supposed to drop this Friday. If the direction of that follows suit, and we get something like really like upbeat, like not, it doesn't be like as poppy as I think a lot of people thought. Painting Pictures was, but which I really loved Painting Pictures, but a lot of people, I admit that it sounded kind of poppy compared to like the institution joint and stuff like that, the those type of things. But it's upbeat with a little bit of reprieve towards some of the fuckery that's happened in his life very recently. I think we can both admit a lot of crazy things have happened.
Right.
I think it could be a really good like low key like it'd probably be an album, but like a tape of the year type of thing. That'd be interesting because Kodak really, as far as street personalities, his take on it has always interested me more than like 99% of other trap rappers.
Yeah. He just has a different way of delivering it, and it's just a way that makes sense, particularly to people from the South. If you're not from the South, you usually just don't understand Kodak Black. I'm not talking like from an accent perspective. I'm just talking about like from a human being perspective. You don't really vibe with him, but he's very important to me at least, like as a musician. But one song that came out about little bit ago. It was about last month, but nobody really heard it. It's called Gosha, Gosha, and it's by a rapper who is a complete unknown, uh, known as Snot, and the S is a dollar sign, of course. And I really vibe with the song. The fucking art for the single was fucking what's the name of the show on Disney Channel that had the black Sabrina the Teenage Witch
Oh
and the
God.
black cat?
Oh
That's
man.
yeah, it's a throwback picture of the black cat, and it's just like a really fucking like a Bones Suicide Boys esque thing. It's just a hot single. Like I recommend that shit. And I'm gonna cap this off with should I cap it off? There's another there's a really big song that came out by another unknown artist known as oh shit, that shit ain't new. Fuck that shit. Well, alright, I'll tell you all about it. It's called Be Free, and it's by an artist that goes by Ace the Spade. And Ace the Spade is all one word. And it's a very good vocals, very good concept to the song. And I recommend that. It's been bumping. I don't know why he credited J. Cole twice on the fucking features, but J. Cole is not on that song. And
He had to get them
it,
clicks.
but that's the thing. That's the thing. Ace the Spade, he had no hits, but then like all his other songs have like 2,000, less than 1,000 type of plays, right? But Be Free has 608,000 right now, and this shit bangs, man. The motherfuckers. He kind of sounds like Why Must I Cry? He kind of sounds like that guy, but
Oh man,
not for
that's
real.
okay. I was
But
about
he
to
sounds
say.
like that Why Must I Cry? It sounds like that guy, but he took a lot of vocals lessons. Like he's really mastered his ability to use the old chords. But yeah, those are the singles that popped out to me. No real albums really popped out to me. I know that On the Run came out, and by Young Thug and Carter Five, but those two came out a while ago, so I'm not gonna plug those here.
Yeah, we gotta try to if we're gonna try to stay up to date. We gotta stop being like the Joe Buttons of the world and be a little more up to date with our music, I guess. Uh,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna try to give. I think you gave 4 songs, so I'll try to give 4 as well. Um, so I'll give 2 niches and 2 like I guess pretty decently well done type of things. I've been scrolling through iTunes and Spotify while you were talking, so I'm trying to find something I feel like is pretty something that have like 5,000 clicks on SoundCloud, something like
Oh
that.
damn, I see you.
Nah, nah. If I want to go that route, all right. So there's my boy. He posts in this forum that I post on pretty often. His name is Krishu, Krishu, and the song's name is Tommy. And I posted it on Snapchat, which I know people don't listen to my songs on Snapchat, but I felt like it was a pretty good song because of that. And it was really like this hook is like This is Vintage Tommy, and it's like some Made in Tokyo type. It's almost a rip off of Made in Tokyo, but it's
Mm,
it's like that prime Made in Tokyo, like coming off of Uber Everywhere, and like you're like this guy might have next type of Made in Tokyo,
yeah,
and I
I
thought,
see.
yeah, you know, I thought it was pretty solid. It's his best song by far. He actually has a video, so it carried his career to some degree, and I give my boy a shout out. Came in January 4th, 2018. Produced by Isaac, who produced a really good, like popular song. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it was pretty damn popular. I'm trying to find it right now off the top of my dome. I'm gonna move on to the next song while I'm thinking about the. Oh yeah, Rubbing Off the Paint. That's what he produced. Yeah,
Oh, he did.
yeah. So he went from Running Off the Paint to this equally as relevant hit.
Yeah, it's gonna blow him up. He's an expert at it.
Okay, so my second song, well, I won't be anywhere near that low key. I'm gonna keep on scrolling through this iTunes until I find something that looks attractive to me, and I'm gonna pull it up and say that it's a song I heard, which it probably won't be because I'm listening to half the songs on iTunes. But here, let me plug my boy Rob Banks. He's not very relevant, but he's.
Oh God.
Have
Damn, these are some names I haven't heard, man.
you never heard Rob Banks?
No, I have. I
Okay,
haven't heard it in
okay.
a long time though. It's been like, damn.
Yeah, that's a TBT right there. Um, so Rob Banks came out with a mixtape. I believe it was my move-in day for college, and it was called Cloverfield.
Cloverfield 3?
Yeah, Cloverfield 3.
Look at this fucking album art.
So this is a picture. Do you watch My Hero Academia?
No.
Okay, so this is this. I'm gonna just give a brief breakdown because I know people didn't understand this at the time, and people probably don't understand it at all. This guy Rob Banks is basically like a rap weeb, basically. Um, and this he has like I guess he loves the color green, some shit like that. So this anime that's very popular called My Hero Academia. One of the more relevant females, her name is Suya Asoy, and her fucking power basically is to be a frog, right?
Okay.
So I don't know how popular she is in the hentai community. I suppose maybe she is, and that's why he picked her specifically. Um, yeah, I think he's gonna do like a hentai cover regardless of who he picked. It just happened to be this young, fine lady who didn't deserve this treatment at all, but she got it. And on the mixtape, Cloverfield 3, one of the more relevant songs on there that to people that don't know this guy, it's called "Bad Vibes Forever." The motto of the guy SS Tentacion, which you may have heard of. They were really close. Both came from Miami, and while only half of it actually speaks about X at all, the other half is about him talking about smashing women, which you know smashing women, a dead guy, then the correlation is there somewhere.
Yeah, it's there.
I thought it was a really well taught, well toned in the second half, and I liked it. Uh, for the people that are seeing my screen right now, because the screen capping is the only kind of capping we're doing over here.
Jesus.
It's gonna be like the
Slick with it.
it's gonna be the byline for this when we upload this. It's gonna be screen capping only capping.
Jeez.
There's no song saved from this on my. I always save whatever songs I consider good. None of these are saved, but I would save BVF if I cared enough to like damn near crash to save my song while driving. And my two famous songs are famous. My two more relevant songs that came out, I guess I'd say this month. Um, as the boys know, I'm a very intense Lupe fan. And
Jesus. It can't be. Did he actually do that? Did he come out with a song?
Lupe came out with an entire album
Oh my god.
about 2 weeks ago, and it sold 5,000 units its first week.
Jesus.
And it did leak 2 days early, but I think you can.
That didn't affect it.
That
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 did nothing.
it probably didn't affect it too much.
Nothing.
But it was a really good album that I loved, and one song I would recommend to anybody that just needs some goodness in their life. Miro Jr., the successor to the world breaking Miro Senior from Tattoo on Youth in 2015. Really good song. I loved it personally. I recommend you go listen to that and get yourself educated on things that matter. Um, and another one that I think is equally as good, but actually accessible to people. It is I don't say the primary single off of this. It's actually the last track, but it's the one a lot of people were looking forward to when things got released for this album. The final track off of Drip Harder by Lil Baby and Gunna, only song I listen to off this album, features Drake on Tay Keith beat called Never Recover. And it's actually like, I don't say this is like the lightning is recaptured from, what is that? The dash of the digit, yes indeed.
Oh,
Yes
yeah.
indeed. It's not yes indeed, but it is pretty close, I feel like.
All right, I'll definitely give that a look.
Do you want to do this show still, or do you want to just close it at that and leave the people wondering?
I think we've been cranking this bitch out for like an hour. What's the time at?
An hour and 1 minute.
All right, see that's those are those skills I got. All right, so let's what do you think is all right? Let's do something real quick. What do you think is the greatest show of all time? Like, there's a best TV show. Like, you might not even like it, but you just know that it's the best that there's ever been in the realm of television. What was it?
Okay, I'm not gonna go Breaking Bad, though that's the common one I like to go with. Uh, it's a really common one. Uh, I think The Wire held down entertainment for pretty much the entire 2000s, so I may have to go with that.
Man, but like The Wire, like it ain't even better than Breaking Bad.
I mean, the easy one's Breaking Bad. I don't know what to say is in the same like realm of like. It's obviously shows in the same realm as Breaking Bad, but like I haven't watched them, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Breaking Bad. Uh, let's see who would I like to. I'll throw it on to you real quick.
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld is the greatest TV show that has ever aired.
Ever
It just
aired.
is. Ever aired, ever done. It's the best. Like, I don't know. I know. Actually, I know. I know you, and I know everyone who could. Every one of the three people who are gonna watch this. Two of them are me and you. Are gonna have seen at least one episode of Seinfeld or one part of an episode of Seinfeld as it was on the TV. And I don't know. The show just had fucking bottle lightning. It was it was like every single episode had multiple moments where people could laugh, and it didn't really matter where you were from or who you were. You could understand the comedy very easily, and the characters were well constructed. It was just very relatable. I don't know. It's just an incredible show. There's never ever gonna be anything like it again.
You know what I'll give the people? I'm gonna give them because I can't do any show that's better than Seinfeld. Even though I don't think it's that good, but I understand how much respect it has. You know, obviously. I'm gonna give the
Yeah.
people
What?
a show that I think a sitcom that had the most potential. It's a linear sitcom. It's very A to B, but the potential to have it before it jumped the shark. I like Weeds. I don't know if you've ever seen.
Ooh.
Is it?
All right. I see you.
I would say from season 1 to maybe season 4, where they're like first the Empire's like building up, and then they're about to like they burn down like pretty much most of California or whatever. Until that point, it was probably like one of the most interesting like flat plot type of shows I've seen.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I think on that maybe controversial note, I'm gonna end it. Any last thoughts, Hudson?
Not really. That's about it for now.
Okay, well, I hope that the audience, as they learn to love this length, which it won't be this long next time, it'll be a little bit more cohesive next time, whenever that may be. Hope you like this episode. I hope you come back for more. keep your day going as good as it was while you listen to this little John right here. And peace.